Welcome to Finding My Judge Through Leadership. I have Miss Aquaria opening this presentation, so let's get started. For this first slide, category is I have personal, academic, professional, and our connection. For personal, my self-confidence and my self-care and independence grew so much this semester. I feel like I have better taken care of myself because Will has provided me ways in knowing how to do that and what that looks like with a heavy workload and little things I can do to just take care of myself. In terms of independence, kind of realizing that I don't need people to kind of feel satisfied in my life in terms of relying on somebody, that I can simply rely on myself, which isn't a bad thing either. And just learning I guess who I am. I feel like I grew so much during the Silver Leadership Challenge, and I was able to figure out who I am as a person, and kind of who I want to be. As for academic, I made goals to do well in ear training and theory and make mostly A's. The mostly A's is definitely going to be happening, thankfully, and I am doing really well in theory. Ear training, I unfortunately did not do as well as I hoped I was going to do, but thankfully I am going to be passing, and that's what I care most about. And I'm really thankful that I had a will to kind of be a motivator, and kind of just stick by my side even in times where I thought I wasn't going to do so well in ear training. As for professional, I wanted to grow as a leader and continue to do well in my leadership positions. I feel like I was definitely able to grow as a leader, and kind of show the growth of just me being more confident within myself and my leadership, and taking that back to organizations that I'm part of, such as Catalyst, which is in Olsey, and me being vice president of CNAFME and other organizations, such as the CVPA University Librarians. And lastly, I wanted to talk about Will and I's connection. Will was able to help me think on a deeper level, and were able to help me or give answers to kind of prompt me to realize things, similar to how kind of a counselor, if you're going to therapy, is able to prompt you to help you realize things. Will always seem to know the right questions to ask. And lastly was, as I said before, they were able to help me kind of figure out who I was by me kind of making those realizations, by asking those right questions. For Eleganza Extravaganza, I have communication, confidence, engagement, and connections. For communication, working with organizations through Catalyst and leadership positions, engagement, Catalyst leader in Spartan service days, confidence, more established leadership style, especially after CPE training, and connections, building relationships with other leaders on campus and within the community. I definitely feel like my confidence and connections and engagement are things that really showed out this semester. I feel like I was able to kind of figure out, as I said before, who I was, and I was able to show that through my engagement, such as Spartan service days when I worked at the Greensboro Curbside Market, and I was able to make that community partner kind of happen for Catalyst as well. In our last Catalyst, we actually got to work with them again. My confidence, especially after CPE training and meeting other on-campus leaders, I feel like since COVID happened, I actually haven't been able to interact with other leaders on campus. So being able to meet new friends, and just talk about leadership and what that means for me, and getting to know other people's leadership styles was really kind of monumental for me in terms of learning how to work with other leaders. And lastly, connections, building relationship with other leaders on campus and within the community. As I said before, I was able to work with other leaders, and kind of figure out how to best work with other people in terms of leadership. I feel like we often kind of like hone on how to work with other people and learning their personality, or if you believe in horoscopes and all that stuff. But when it comes to leadership styles and learning how to work with other leadership styles is really important as well. And I feel like I was to do that through CPE training and through the Silver Leadership Challenge when kind of working on myself and learning about who I am as a leader and as a person. For my community partner, I chose the Highlight Shield Mentors program, and for their strengths, I have them listed on the left side of this slide. And I have social media, which has very accessible online platforms, program, which is their 12-week program that they actually were able to offer virtually to accommodate COVID. I believe the CEO of this organization was able to create this program to accommodate COVID last spring, and it really was in the works this spring, and they were actually able to have their first cohort. And after speaking with Precious Boy, who is the CEO of this organization, they are planning to keep this going even post-COVID, because they were able to bring people from out of state, which is definitely a strength, to bring in more people, because that's always what you want. And for the third strength is their transparent and report and financials on their website. For takeaways, I was really interested in their strengths, particularly their multiple programs that they include, which is the Leadership Academy, Early Merit Program, Online Mentoring, and Intentional Parenting Online Summit. And they also offer fee assistance to offset some of the program fees, which I thought was really interesting and super helpful for people who are looking to be part of this program. Their threats is just COVID and it negatively impacting their in-person leadership curriculum. Although they were able to bring in more people from out of state, the people that they would usually work with within the community, it was hard to get them to participate since the format was going to be online, so which negatively impacted a lot of organizations, but COVID was definitely a big threat. And looking at their 2019 annual report, it's a bit concerning that out of their leadership curriculum, they've only had 36 participants, despite being active for only almost 8 years since their online program and 4 years since their first cohort. And lastly, I have impact. I kind of feel like they have a more rounded view and is able to kind of give parents and students an opportunity, especially when working with and kind of recognizing the age gap, which a lot of organizations I feel like kind of don't really recognize that, and is able to kind of give college students the opportunity to work with these students and have these mentors who are in college and they can relate to them and they're able to kind of communicate with them a little bit better. And that also comes back to me having a more rounded view of Guilford County in general and the organizations that are trying to make a difference, especially when it comes to mentoring. I've never seen a program that has this type of impact to the community. And lastly, it is definitely a volunteer opportunity. I will actually be working with the Shield Mentors program through the CQ Public Fellows internship this summer, and I plan to hopefully work with them for the Gold Leadership Challenge as well. It's a perfect volunteer opportunity, especially for UNCG students, especially for Gold students as well. I'm very thankful to have found this organization to kind of highlight in this slideshow. For the makeup challenge, I have Miss Vanjie here, one of the drag queens, to talk about my personal motivation and what kind of motivates me and why these things motivate me. So I have positive change, advocacy, my grandmother, and Michelle Obama. So starting with the person who has the biggest impact on me is my grandmother. Every weekend since I was literally 6 weeks old, my grandma has taken care of me, and I would leave on Saturday and come back on Sunday after church. And my grandmother has just been the biggest inspiration. No one on my mother's side or my father's side, except for my grandmother, has gone to college. None of my cousins. Of course, I have cousins who are younger than me who are still in school, but all my older cousins that are the same age, uncles, aunts, no one has gone to college except for my grandmother. So kind of being this first generation student and having my grandmother be here and talk about her experience at Meredith, it was really helpful, and it was kind of able to help me realize, okay, college is definitely something I want to do, especially if I want to get out of this little old town of Zebulon. Definitely wanted to kind of figure out who I am. Aside from my family, we're very close-knit and big family, but I really just wanted to get out of the town and kind of figure out who I am as a person. And my grandmother is someone who definitely supported that. Her being a single mother, raising 2 kids, and was able to get her master's degree while raising these 2 kids as a single mother was just so inspiring. And I was like, if my grandmother can do this, then definitely I can too. Secondly, I have positive change. This is something that has been really, really important to me since my church started giving backpacks to the local elementary school full of goodies for students who may not be able to afford all of those things that you need for school. And ever since that service project that we do every Christmas, it has been kind of working towards positive change, and working in the community has been really important for me. I was super involved in high school in terms of working closely with the Rotary Club, and being president of Interact Club and being just a member of the community. And this was definitely was able to help me be empowered, and I was able to find confidence in myself in terms of serving. Third, have advocacy, standing up for what's right and being a leader when others might not have the opportunity. I'm definitely someone who does not mind speaking my mind, and I love standing up for what's right. And I'm just someone that wants to be at the scene and wants to be that voice for people who may not be able to have the opportunity to share their own voice in front of a crowd, or may not have the opportunity to get away from work or to be able to serve the community. So kind of just being that person that's able to do those things, since I have the opportunity to do so, is really important for me. I wanted to end this voiceover and slide with Michelle Obama's quote, "There are so many causes worth sacrificing for, so much history yet to be made." Cliche as it is, this quote honestly has taken me throughout all of high school. They always tell you never to put a quote in your college essays, since it's so cliche and a lot of people are doing it nowadays. And to kind of, I don't know, I feel like quoting people is not as common as it used to be, and this is something that's really important to me, and just seeing a Black president and a Black first lady was just really big. Even though I was only in thankfully I had parents who was able to kind of teach me how monumental this was, and I've just, ever since then, I've just always been in love with the Obama family, and especially Michelle Obama, and her just advocating for students, and being a mother, and kind of almost being a mother to all of America, and kind of just being this figure that was able to be a role model for everyone was just really important for me. And she's still someone that is a huge role model and inspiration to this day. For this last slide, I have ConDRAGulations. And I have Miss Sasha Velour. We love her. She won one of the seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race. And for my future goals, I plan to be president of CNAFME. I'm currently vice president / president-elect. So I will be automatically transitioning to president in November. And through this position, I hope to provide more prominent social media, panel discussions, and presentations for collegiate chapters. For the NBA, that is the National Band Association, that is actually something that we are starting within the School of Music this year, and thankfully I've been on this mini committee to kind of get this jump started for the next semester, and I'm really excited about it. And through this, I hope to create opportunities for music education, majors in terms of education, mentor opportunities, and discussions with current educators. Thirdly, Gold Leadership Challenge. I really wanted to finish this whole challenge, and it's been a goal since I wanted to come to UNCG. And through the Gold Leadership Challenge, I hope to serve an organization within the Gopher community to gain more hands-on experience of how a nonprofit organization operates and become more knowledgeable with a specific issue. And lastly, I want to gain more experience teaching students, specifically K through 5. For post-graduation, I hope to get a job teaching K through 5 or middle school, preferably K through 5, since each summer I typically work with kids at a summer camp, and that is the age group I feel most comfortable with, and I think I would have the greatest impact with. And I just hope to gain more experience with K through 5, no matter if it's in music, academics, tutoring, mentoring. So that's why working with the Shield Mentors program for Gold, continuing my camp, summer job, and being able to work with students in my music classes and teaching classes is really important for me. And I hope to grow as a leader and as a future educator through this.